Disclaimer: the following narrative is based on open source reports and public claims.
The situation around Krasnoarmeysk, known in Ukraine as Pokrovsk, is becoming increasingly unforgiving. What began as a failed attempt to break through a strategic corridor has now escalated into something far more serious. Reports are emerging that Russian forces have captured Ukrainian soldiers who were attempting to seize or infiltrate the area. This incident marks a significant shift. It suggests that the battlefield in eastern Ukraine is no longer offering room for small mistakes. Every movement now comes with severe consequences. This development did not happen overnight. It is the result of weeks of evolving combat dynamics. Ukrainian forces have been struggling to maintain key supply routes, while Russian units have been steadily tightening their control over open terrain, railway lines, and critical movement corridors. Krasnoarmeysk plays a vital role in Ukraine's eastern defense. It serves as a logistical hub, a gateway for troop rotations, ammunition supply, and medical evacuations. Losing freedom of movement here could destabilize the entire front line in Donetsk. According to Russian sources, Ukrainian units attempted to move through the area in small mobile groups. This tactic is commonly used to avoid detection and probe enemy defenses without triggering a full-scale response. However, the battlefield conditions around Krasnoarmeysk have changed dramatically. What may have worked months ago is now increasingly ineffective. The railway corridor, once considered a viable logistical route, has become one of the most dangerous zones in the region. Russian forces claim the area had been under continuous, layered surveillance for an extended period. Reconnaissance drones reportedly operated day and night, tracking suspicious movements and mapping Ukrainian routes. Every step, every pause, and every attempt to use the terrain for cover was allegedly monitored. By the time Ukrainian units entered the zone, their positions were no longer unknown. Instead of launching an immediate overwhelming attack, Russian units are said to have applied controlled pressure. Limited strikes were used to disrupt communication, block retreat paths, and isolate the advancing Ukrainian soldiers. In modern warfare, destruction is not always the primary objective. Capturing enemy troops alive often provides greater strategic value: intelligence, psychological leverage, and propaganda impact. This appears to have been one of those cases. As pressure mounted, several Ukrainian soldiers reportedly found themselves cut off from their main units. Ammunition supplies dwindled, communication channels went silent, retreat routes were no longer accessible. At that point, options became extremely limited. Continuing to fight meant likely annihilation. Withdrawal was no longer possible. The battlefield had turned into a closed trap. Russian troops then conducted a slow and methodical sweep of the area. There was no large firefight caught on camera, no dramatic footage of close combat, but the outcome was clear. Several Ukrainian soldiers were captured alive. This result was quickly framed as evidence that Russian control over the Krasnoarmeysk area is tightening, not just through firepower, but through dominance of space, information, and timing. The capture of enemy soldiers is more than a tactical success. It carries heavy psychological weight. For Ukrainian troops on the front line, reports of captured comrades can undermine morale. The fear of being surrounded, isolated, and cut off becomes very real. For Russia, the message is the opposite. It signals confidence, control, and the ability to dictate how engagements unfold. Short clips, brief reports, and carefully framed narratives quickly followed. The goal was clear: to show that Krasnoarmeysk is no longer a contested gray zone, but an area under tight Russian oversight. The absence of dramatic footage does not weaken the message. Instead, it reinforces the idea that resistance in this area is becoming increasingly futile. For Ukraine, this incident serves as a warning. Small unit infiltration tactics are becoming far more dangerous. Open terrain, limited cover, and widespread drone surveillance leave little room for maneuver. Any future attempt to retake or contest the area will require greater resources, stronger protection, and far more coordination, all while under constant observation. This is not just about one operation or one group of soldiers. It reflects a broader shift in momentum. Russia appears focused on long-term control, not rapid breakthroughs. Step by step, pressure by pressure, the battlefield is being shaped into an environment where Ukrainian options continue to shrink. The capture of Ukrainian soldiers near Krasnoarmeysk is only one episode in a much larger conflict, but it is a revealing one. It suggests that the balance in this sector is changing, from fluid engagements to gradual domination, from contested movement to controlled space. If this pattern continues, Krasnoarmeysk may no longer represent a gateway of opportunity for Ukraine, but a dangerous trap for any unit attempting to push forward without overwhelming support. And that could mark the beginning of a new phase in the Eastern Front.